Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Batman and Spawn, War Devil. Now, War Devil is a graphic novel written by Doug Moench and Chuck Dixon and Alan Grant, and illustrated by Klaus Janson, and of course published by DC Comics. Now, this was published in 1994. Now, that same year, there was another Batman and Spawn crossover comic written by Frank Miller called Spawn vs. Batman. However, this book has no relation to that book. Like, this is not set in the same continuity as that other Spawn and Batman comic. Now, this book, of course, features the character of Batman, who was originally created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and it also features the character of Spawn, originally created by Todd McFarlane. Now, War Devil is an Elseworld story. It's not set in the mainstream DC continuity, nor is it set in the same continuity as the Spawn series. Basically, it's set in its own universe. Now, one thing I thought was really cool about this comic is it actually ties into the whole story of Roanoke. Now, Roanoke was a British colony that set up in the late 16th century in what would later become Virginia, and basically a few years after this settlement was established, all the settlers ended up disappearing without a trace, and the only real clue was the word Croatoan, I think I'm saying that name right, carved into a tree. And many writers over the years and many people have come up with different theories about what actually happened to that colony. But once again, this book actually ties into the whole story of the lost colony, and it suggests that a demon was actually behind the disappearance of the Roanoke colony. Now, the plot of Batman and Spawn War Devil is it begins where Batman is looking for clues to help him find a missing person named Virgil Dare, and he eventually finds out where Virgil Dare is, and he tracks him down to this tower being built in Gotham City. Now, the man who was building this tower ended up disappearing a few years prior to the events of this story, but basically what happens is that man named Simon Vasper ends up coming back. Now, in the book, it also starts following Spawn. Now, Spawn is a demon who used to be a human assassin named Al Simmons, and it turns out when Spawn was a human and when he was an assassin, he actually killed Simon Vasper, but now Vasper has come back from the dead. But eventually in the story, you realize that Vasper's body is just being possessed by the demon Croatoan, who is the demon behind the disappearance of the Roanoke colony. And in the story, you find out that Croatoan is trying to destroy Gotham City and send the souls of all the people of Gotham City to hell in order to appease Satan. And basically, in the story, Croatoan ends up resurrecting an army of zombies and sending them to attack the people of Gotham. And basically, in the story, Batman eventually meets Spawn, and Batman and Spawn team up in order to stop Croatoan, and that's the basic plotline of Spawn and Batman War Devil. Now, War Devil I thought was a really fun graphic novel, and if you haven't read this, I highly recommend giving this book a read. Now, I'm not sure if I would recommend this or the Batman and Spawn comic that Frank Miller wrote more. I mean, they're both good, and once again, they're not in continuity with each other, so you can easily read one without the other, and I'm not sure which one I would recommend more. I think I might have actually liked this one a little bit more than the one that Frank Miller wrote, but that's just my personal opinion. But once again, it's a really fun read, and I personally recommend it. So yeah, that was my review on Batman and Spawn War Devil, and bye.